Cheating. In the multiplayer realm, hated, but there used to be a time in the single player realm where cheating could actually be fun. More specifically, it could be part of the fun. In a lot of ways, it was like, well, modding the game to your liking. Not completely, but pretty similar. Nowadays we have Cheat Engine, but way back in the day we had Game Genie and Game Shark. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx we asked the question, did Game Genie and Game Shark make video games more fun? So the first thing we have to talk about here is taste. Taste is an incredibly subjective thing. Everyone gets something slightly different out of an experience, and therefore everybody's opinion on that experience is going to be slightly different. At least slightly different, sometimes way different. So if I say anything in here that doesn't match up with your experience with Game Genie or Game Shark, please understand I'm drawing from my own experiences as well as the experiences of people I've talked to about the subject, which includes the gameranx family recently as well as other friends throughout the years. Right off, let's talk about the people who miss cheating. The conversations I've had about this have centered quite a bit on how achievements, as well as the whole idea of percent complete, have helped turn people into more of purists regarding what they do in a game. You see, to get an achievement, you usually can't be cheating. Same goes for percent complete. Oftentimes these games don't even really contain very much in the way of cheating anymore. As I've said in a previous video, a cheat is a deliberate inclusion. The company who makes the game has to decide, yes, we're going to include cheating, and it seems like a lot of companies are just deciding not to put much emphasis on that. And if you're not on a platform like PC, there's no such thing as Cheat Engine. The consoles just don't have a means to inflict cheating on the game, which leads us to Game Genie and Game Shark, which were exactly that. These devices edited data in the system's RAM, for instance code or various attributes applied to things, and create, well, the effect of cheating. They didn't just do that though, they also added things to games. For instance, in the Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter II World Warrior, you could play as the bosses thanks to the Super Nintendo game Genie. It wasn't necessarily the most predictable thing in the world, but it worked. And that's exactly what Game Genie was like. They printed out codes that would do very specific things, but you could also make your own codes by basically, well, inputting random stuff. They'd often have very weird effects on the game, or in some cases would actually even function as a cheat code. And there's a debate whether cheating is good or bad in single-player games. Ultimately, my conclusion, because I have covered that topic before, is different strokes for different folks. I'd recommend watching that video if you're interested in that particular argument, but live and let live I think is a good approach to most things. Not all things, most things. Some people use cheat codes because it makes the game easier, others use cheat codes because there's an unskippable tutorial that takes a really long time and you can skip it with cheat codes. There's more than a few reasons why you would want a Game Genie or a Game Shark, or for that matter, Cheat Engine, at least in a single player game, and I'm not here to tell you how you should think about this. I'm here to explore it, and also to say if you cheat in multiplayer games, you're an asshole. Sorry, I just felt like throwing that in. The argument against devices like Game Genie or Game Shark originated with Nintendo not wanting players to be able to cheat in their games. Yes, it comes from them being puritanical about gaming, which is interesting on account some people view it as a feature or as a reason to make more purchases. It's hard to imagine any company, not just Nintendo, going no to something that could potentially make them more money nowadays, but I don't know, most companies outside of Nintendo don't even want to make single player games, despite there being a lot of people like, hey, make single player games, we'd like to give you money for them. So I guess they were purists then, they're purists now. And also if you trace it back to this, game companies have not learned their lesson about the fact people want games that do what they want, and they'll pay for them. It's weird. So back to gaming in decades past. It's actually almost absurd if you think about it, but they actually redesigned their hardware to try to get people not to use Game Genies. They sued Game Genie before the Game Genie even came out, lost, and had to pay Codemasters, the people who made Game Genie, $16 million. But there's more reasons why developers don't want you cheating anymore. And you're not gonna like to hear this, but it's microtransactions. That's right, when microtransactions end up giving you little advantages in gameplay, they kind of function as nerfed cheat codes. There are a lot of single-player games that now do contain microtransactions. Can you imagine if you were allowed to cheat in them? Why, you're now affecting the amount of money the company that made the game gets, despite the fact that you already paid $60 for the game itself. Oh my god, I hate that so much. With that in mind, one could even say that if there were a Game Genie or a Game Shark that allowed you to advance unhindered by a microtransaction economy, that there is an objective answer to the question, did Game Genie and Game Shark make games more fun? If they existed today and allowed you to get around that BS, then yes, 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 yes. 1,000 times yes. Now that certainly wasn't the motive for trying to stop them from making the Game Genie in the 1990s. Microtransactions were probably not something that people had thought of yet, and that's why games weren't overloaded with them. But one could say that the units themselves were a type of accountability. If that type of thing was added to a game, it could be circumvented. To use an analog from Bethesda, when they added the Creators Club, or another version of paid mods, somebody made a free mod to remove it from Fallout 4. Way back in the day, if microtransactions were a thing, then Game Genie would have been the thing that was fighting it, or could be used that way at very least. And ultimately, that is exactly what Game Genie and Game Shark are: control. When you have one of those, you have more control over the game itself. In an era where so much control wasn't being exerted over you, where the rules that you were playing by were simply to make the game better, the Game Genie and the Game Shark were really something for your own amusement. And whether or not you agree with that, it's fine. You could not buy one. You could not cheat. You could choose to play the game vanilla. And that's great. I've done that a million times and I've enjoyed the hell out of it. But you don't have the choice anymore. And it's partly because games have just gotten much more serious, and it's partly because it might disrupt revenue models. Either way, it's a small level of control that has been taken away from the player of the game. Did Game Genie and Game Shark make games more fun? Well, yeah, for people who liked messing with games, and believe me, there's an entire community of that based in any game that will allow mods. Game Genie and Game Shark were fun as hell. Did they make you an honest, pure gamer? No, but I hope that's not the goal of most gamers. I hope that people's goal is the enjoyment and entertainment that the medium can bring. For some, that means not cheating. For some, that means cheating. We all want different things out of games. It kind of sucks that profit models don't always want us to do them. But it is sometimes nice to look back and take stock. Where did the fun come from? Sometimes it was Game Genie and Game Shark. Let's keep that in mind going forward. What kind of Game Genie and Game Shark codes did you use back in the day? If you never got to use them, or you just want to talk philosophical, what is your opinion on the current state of single-player game cheating? Meet us in the comments. We're interested in what you have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, and if you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.